Then there's well-being. Think of this as your source energy, right? Ask yourselves, can teams create their best work when their well-being is like this, right? A faceplant. This is why I couldn't give up the DNA strand, because these things are so interwoven. The most impressive data I've seen on well-being with teams is from Dr. Leslie Perlow, which we'll talk about in a minute. What I love here is that we know a lot individually about well-being, but what can we do as a team to support our highest energy? It may feel counterintuitive, but it's actually to embrace constraints. So I had the joy of working with Dr. Leslie Perlow from Harvard Business School, who has longitudinal research on the benefits of creating these constraints. If you ever wondered why flex work wasn't successful for decades before the pandemic, it's because it was individualized. And when an individual takes flex time, it violates what social scientists call the ideal worker norm, the one that almost stopped me from getting on the plane to see my brother for the last time. But when you have team-based design collaboration constraints, actually the work hours go down, creativity goes up, turnover goes down, burnout goes down. It's because she's been able to replicate in a longitudinal way how, when we have constraints, it actually fuels us to do our best work. For more information, absolutely go to her TED Talk. She's got a book. It was just on Adam Grant's podcast. And those are two great researchers when you're looking to learn more about the future of teams. Okay, of course, sleep is essential for your well-being. But again, how does it apply to your teamwork? Rest is crucial. That's how we have our memories, how we make sense of our lives. And it helps us with our divergent thinking, which is that creativity we talked about. So raise your hand if you take a nap on a daily basis. Okay, we need more nappers in this audience. I actually do. And what's interesting is when we talk about this as a team, the question is, do we give you a little side eye, or do we recognize you as a superhero that embraces neuroscience? Because this is really solid science. NASA actually did an experiment and showed that when pilots took a 26-minute nap, they had a 34% increase in their performance. Okay, remember, naps equal higher performance. So a bunch of tech companies saw this data. This is data that's been around for a while, and they instituted nap pods. Seems like a great idea. But this is when neuroscience and social science butt up. Because even though the companies saw the data and instituted the nap pods, no one was taking the naps. So one of them created screens so that when you're walking to the nap pod, you would not be seen, because you don't want to violate that ideal worker norm. So how might we redesign teams where we're encouraging people to follow the neuroscience and let go of old norms that celebrate exhaustion? Because exhaustion also means we're going to be emotionally irrational, with our amygdala 60% more reactive, according to neuroscientist Matthew Walker. Yes, the future of teams needs team attunement, right? With emotional regulation skills. So did you ever notice when someone on your team's a little tense, like they're in the back of their brains? You can switch this by asking a question. It actually moves the blood in the brain to the prefrontal cortex when you ask a question. So additionally, we think about the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Taking deep breaths will slow down your heart and allow you to have your highest thinking, your prefrontal cortex. Because being exhausted has a huge cost, not just to actually how you feel, but to your teamwork, right? You have higher irrational behavior, your learning is compromised, it goes down 40%. You're more likely to get Alzheimer's, and you look worse. Turns out beauty sleep is real.